In this video, we're going to kick off the rules by talking about a few definitions as well as what's new for this coming season. So this is a page in your robot game rules, very important page, especially for our newcomers and our new students, new technicians, new coaches. Equipment. Equipment is a pretty straightforward rule. It is something you bring to the match. And the difference there being that, something that you brought with you from home and it's here on the table. The field is the border walls and everything inside them. That includes the mat, the mission models, and the home areas are all part of the field. So in general here, it's anything you didn't bring from home. There might be one exception to that in terms of this this bullet point here with the mission models versus things you bring to the match. There is one thing you bring to the match that could be a mission model. We might want to get some clarification on that, but we'll talk about that when the time comes. Then we have an interruption. It is when technicians interact with the robot or anything touching it after a launch. So if you touch the robot after a launch, if you touch something the robot interacts with after a launch, that is an interruption. That's going to play very heavily into the interruption rules. We talk about launch. That is when your technicians are activating the robot from completely within a launch area. It has to move autonomously. A match are the 2.5 minutes when the robot does whatever it can to earn as many points as it can. A mission is one or more tasks that can be completed for points. You can try the missions in any order, any combination. You don't have to do all of them, and you don't have to do all of them in order. You can do whichever ones you think you can do, and you can do as many at a time as you think you can do. The precision tokens are the 6 red Lego discs, look like this, and they are included with the challenge set. They are worth 3 points. All you have to do is not touch your robot when you're not supposed to. But in some situations, a referee may remove them one at a time. The robot is your controller and any equipment combined with it by hand and intended to not separate from it unless by hand. So if you have your robot and you set a mission model on top of it, that is not part of your robot. That is just something your robot's carrying. But anything attached to your robot that you have to physically pull apart would be part of the robot. And then finally, technicians are the team members standing at the table who are handling the robot at the match. Ideally, we're looking for at least 4, 2 on each end. If you have at least 4, you have to use 4. If you have fewer, we'll talk about what the update for that is. If you have more than 4, we'll also talk about kind of how you can swap in and out. So those are the key terms you'll want to be aware of. If you're coming to us, this year from a previous season, if it's been a while, if you were with us last year, either way, here are some things to be aware of. Or if you're brand new, here are some things that if you hear other coaches who are veteran coaches talk about this, you'll want to be aware of too. The first is that we have 2 home areas and 2 launch areas. In the past, we only had 1. Now we got 2. And we'll talk about in a future video how to deal with that. It used to be that you could have 2 technicians. Now you are allowed to have 4 technicians, 2 on each side. And if you can have 4, you need to have 4. And then most of the rules have been rewritten to account for all these changes. So just pay attention to how the rules are worded. It shouldn't be a huge shakeup, but there are some subtleties you'll want to keep in mind. And with that covers our definitions and what's new this year. And so in the next videos, we'll get into the rules that apply generally year over year, but again, have been tweaked slightly for this year because of this addition of a second home area and a second launch area.